Serena Williams, her amazing tantrum, and what it says about that poison that's identity politics today, a poison that excuses people behaving appallingly. I'm sure you've already heard how Williams, the greatest female tennis player of her generation, put on the greatest tantrum as she lost the US Open women's final on Saturday to Japan's young Naomi Osaka. And worse, you may have heard the excuses already made for Williams and by her that she was actually a victim here of sexism and even racism. This is such a bizarre, even sick inversion of the truth involving such an influential woman that I think it's important to carefully go through the facts. Serena Williams. She was expected to win on Saturday and equal the record set by Australia's Margaret Court of 24 major title victories, except she lost the first set 2-6 to Osaka, and early in the second set, Williams' coach gestured to her, probably to get her closer to the net, and nodded in apparent recognition that she'd got his message. Now, coaching from the sidelines is illegal, and Williams was given a code violation by umpire Carlos Ramos. She went nuclear.
You owe me an apology. I have never cheated in my life. I have a daughter and I stand what's right for her, and I've never cheated. And you owe me an apology.
Now, be very clear here. Williams' coach actually admits he'd been coaching her, even if Williams claimed on court she was just getting a thumbs up.
Well, I mean, I'm honest. I was coaching. I mean, I don't think she looked at me, so that's why she didn't even think I was.
He gives me a thumbs up. He's telling me to come on.
So the umpire was absolutely correct and Williams absolutely wrong. A few games later in the match, Williams had a serve broken again by Osaka and smashed her racket in anger. That is another clear code violation. Second offence, so Ramos docked Williams a point off the next game. A couple of games later, Williams was given a third code violation for this tantrum, abusing and threatening the umpire.
You will never, ever, ever be on another court of mine as long as you live. You are the liar. And you stole a point from me. You're a thief, too.
Code violation, verbal abuse.
Now, you cannot have millions and millions of children watching their sports hero calling an umpire a thief and a cheat. So Ramos was absolutely right to punish Williams, and because it was a third violation, she was docked the next game. Williams continued to rage, and it got so ugly that when Osaka finally won, the feral New York crowd, so partisan, ruined her moment of triumph, forcing her to virtually apologise for winning.
Good evening, everyone, and we welcome you to the trophy celebration of the United States Open. Ladies and gentlemen and fans,
cheering for her, and I'm sorry it had to end like this.
You'd think Williams would be utterly ashamed of herself after that. You'd be wrong. She instead announced that she was actually a hero of the women's movement, because she'd been punished in a way that male players were not.
I've seen other men call other umpires several things, and I'm here fighting for women's rights and for women's equality and for all kinds of stuff. And for me to say thief and for him to take a game, it made me feel like it was a sexist remark.
America's National Organization for Women even claimed that Williams was the victim of racism, saying, in what was a blatantly racist and sexist move, tennis umpire Carlos Ramos unfairly penalised Serena Williams in an abhorrent display of male dominance and discrimination. It's unbelievable. Here is victims' politics in a nutshell. Serena Williams, a super-rich sports star, much pampered, actually broke the rules, acted like a brat, abused an official, and reduced her opponent to tears. But because she's a woman and black, she's actually a victim who should not have been held responsible for her shocking behaviour. And bear in mind, by the way, that the real victim here is another woman of colour, her opponent, Naomi Osaka, who didn't break a racket, didn't abuse anyone, didn't have her coach caught cheating. So if Williams was a victim of racism and sexism, why wasn't Osaka? Now bear in mind, Williams actually has a record for abusing officials, abusing women of colour, by the way. For instance, she attacked a lineswoman of Asian appearance who foot-faulted her at the 2009 US Open and told that poor woman she wanted to ram an effing ball down her effing neck. But let's go back for a second to this excuse that Williams and her defenders are making for her, that men behave worse without getting punished like this black woman was. If that's the case, then I think you should just punish men more. You don't punish Williams less. But is this claim of double standards actually true? Now, this same umpire, Carlos Ramos, actually gave Novak Djokovic a code violation at the French Open for unsportsmanlike time-wasting and yelling.
Residual. Yep, that is. He's right.
What did I say?
No, not what you said.
What did I say?
Not what you said.
What did I say? Why did you give me warning? What?
And, of course, John McEnroe was famously thrown out of the Australian Open for abuse.
Code violation, verbal abuse, default, Mr. McEnroe.
Whoa!
Game, set, match, point.
Victim politics is a curse of our time. You see here how Serena Williams pulled the gender card, others pulled the race card to excuse her behaviour. We were told not to hold her accountable as an individual, but to excuse her as a type, a black woman. Identity politics, it really is the excuse of scoundrels.